Konnichiwa, this is the Shogun Steam, and this is an unboxing and a historical background of the game Shogun Solitaire, a single-player solo game from Worthington with the theme of the Sengoku period in Japan, with the unification of Japan, which ultimately was done by Tokugawa Ieyasu in around 1600 after the Battle of Sekigahara. And then the final chapter against the Toyotomi was at Osaka, 1614, 1615. So this game has the theme of that Sengoku unification period. And according to the instructions here, Shogun Solitaire is a card game for one player. You lead a group of 4 clans that have joined forces to unite feudal Japan. Each of the 4 clans must seize 3 objectives within their territory to accomplish unification under a single shogun. You must deploy armies and combinations to be successful and overcome your enemies. Okay, so as you can tell from the name of this channel, the Shogunstein really enjoys Japanese history. Here's the back of the box, showing one player, ages 14 plus, about 30-minute playing time. There's the complexity. As you can tell from the name of this channel, we're really into Japanese history, especially the Sengoku period. And just as a little backstory, I've been to Japan 4 times between 1996 and 2003. And it had been a while. And last year, you know, the remake, the new version of the Shogun TV show was there on the Hulu. And that got me going again. You know, that really, lit a fire for me to, dive back into that time period in Japanese history. It had been a while since I've been to Japan. But it was a little after the show had aired that I was working a football game at my side hustle when someone else at my job started to talk to me. They had some questions about some of the historical events in the Shogun show, about who Toranaga really was, which is Tokugawa, Will Adams, Blackthorn. And I had about a half-hour conversation with this person at my side hustle during this football game. And that was it. I was fully back in. And by this past summer, I was back in Japan for 8 nights with my family. And the highlight, at least for me, the whole trip was a highlight. It was fantastic. We did Tokyo and Kyoto with the Himeji. There was a point during the trip where Mrs. Shogunstein and Little Shogunstein, they did a day trip to Nara, which is the old capital of Japan, modeled after Xi'an, Chinese influence with those, also with the deer. They did their little day trip to Nara, and I had hired a private tour guide, my buddy Hideo. Shout out to Hideo, he does tours. And I had a private tour of the Osaka Castle battlefield, which was like a bucket list for me, which is where, again, the Tokugawa family took out the heir to Hideyoshi, the Toyotomi family. There was the siege of Osaka Castle, and that led to the Tokugawa family having no real opposition from the end of that campaign, 1615, all the way until 1854, when Commodore Perry shows up, and then shortly after 1868 is the Meiji Restoration. So it was an unbelievable trip. I got to see Osaka Castle. I got to go to some of the battlefields around Osaka Castle. It was a dream come true to finally be able to do that. So that fire has been lit again. So that was trip 5. We're already planning to go back to Japan in 2027. One of the places I do want to visit is the temple in Kyoto, where one of the 3 unifiers of Japan, Oda Nobunaga, was assassinated. And that led to Toyotomi Hideyoshi and Tokugawa Ieyasu kind of battling out a little bit, but Toyotomi Hideyoshi then will take over Japan, pretty much rule as shogun. Kind of goes downhill when he has his failed attempt to invade China through Korea. And then eventually, again, after Sekigahara, Tokugawa Ieyasu will become the shogun. That family will rule through the Meiji Restoration. So that's the time period of this game. And again, it's a solitaire game. There's not many components. You got cards. The cards seem to be good quality with nice art. Let's see here. Got this very cool art. Cavalry, soldier. Leaders, ninja, samurai, raid, envoy. So we have some really nice cards. Card quality is good. Instruction book is short. Again, there aren't that many components here. And we have some tiles, I guess, representing these different families. We got some scenes here. That could be Osaka Castle. That could be Himeji Castle. I did get to go to Himeji and Osaka Castle on this last trip. Had a great tour of Himeji Castle. And Hideo took me around Osaka Castle. So this looks the same. So not a lot of components. It's a small solitaire game. Now, just one thing I do want to throw in here and take it for what it's worth. There's a lot of talk in the game industry about, it wasn't a good year for the games. The industry is shrinking, people losing jobs, game companies closing down. I don't know much about Worthington Games. I'm assuming it's a smaller publisher, but again, I don't know. Behind the scenes, I don't know, maybe they got taken over by a big company. I don't know anything about them. I just assume that they're a small company, but who knows? But people talk about some of the issues in board gaming this year and how, a lot of people aren't doing well in board gaming. Just, again, this is not based on any kind of gameplay. I haven't played it yet. But you got a small box. You got a deck of cards, basically. Nice cards, nice artwork, but it's a deck of cards. Little instruction book. A couple tiles. And these little, I guess maybe kind of player boards. Price for all this, $40. Not getting a lot here. Again, this could end up being an awesome game. I love this theme. Certainly love this theme. It's right up my alley. So I'm assuming that I'm really going to love this game. But this amount of game, so a couple pieces of cardboard, deck of cards, $40. So for the people in board gaming, again, I don't know anything about this game company really, so I don't know what their story is. Again, maybe they're a small independent publisher and, it's expensive to make a game. That could be. I don't know. Maybe I got to do a little more homework on that. But the bottom line, as a consumer, this little box with some cardboard and some cards, $40. So as people start to look at board gaming and, blame tariffs and all these other issues, I think the board gaming industry also needs to look at itself. This is a cool theme. This isn't Vikings or zombies or animal people like so many games are. So give them kudos to, a cool theme. But the industry lately, they, two-player versions of games we already have, new versions of games we already have, the same theme games, expensive, bad Kickstarters, and then, they wonder why the industry is shrinking. So again, you're going to charge $40 for a small box. That's pretty expensive. And again, let's see how many plays I get out of this game. Let's see how good the game is. But still, $40 for, a deck of card and pieces of cardboard here. But again, that's me talking out of my rear end here because I don't know much about this company and I haven't played the game. Maybe this game is so awesome and I'm going to play it so much that, the return on investment is 50-fold. But either way, it's expensive. Anyway, this is a look at the components in Shogun Solitaire. Again, we're looking to unify Japan. This is a look at the components. We'll let you know after we play it and give you our thoughts. This is the Shogun Stein out.